Hello everyone, welcome to Super Coaching UPSC by Textbook. This is Ventakesh, your faculty for geography, and in this session, we're going to discuss about the world geography mapping of the continent which is in the picture, Europe. Europe. Now, right, good afternoon, Harshvardhan, good afternoon. Yes, good afternoon. Right, see one thing, please understand what is the motive of this session. We are not discussing about the current affair aspects of the mapping series, though I do explain sometimes in a separate video. Whereas this approach here is meant for covering the static portions. For example, when you talk about the current affairs, you have a very important place here, right way here, the called as Murmansk, which is an important important region in the present era, where we are importing oil from Russia. That is one. When you talk about Ukraine, the war, you can see the countries which are part of the boundaries. That question can be asked. Black Sea is in use. They can ask you about Black Sea. So these are from the current affairs point of view. From the static point of view, I want you to know around certain kinds of things. For example, when you talk about the Europe, you can always see the, let me identify the first things. So when you talk about Europe, any kind of a continent in general, we'll discuss about the mountains, we will discuss about the plateaus, the oceans around it, the minor seas around it, the rivers of that continent, the highest point, right, the straits, all such kind of things. So keeping that into considerations, let us see the about the Europe. Now when you talk about the Europe, location. The first thing I am trying to tell you about any geographical thing is first is always about the location. Why location? Because once you understand location, you will get to know about so much amount of the things of static portion, the things of the locational angle, the aspect with respect to their climate, based on that natural vegetation, all such kind of things will be easily understood, no? So that's where location is important. Now if you see, when you talk about the location of Europe, it is not a very big continent. It's a very smaller continent relatively. Is it not, Harshvardhan? Harshvardhan, is it not? Is it is a smaller continent? Yes, right? Will you agree with that? Yes, hello Gayatri. Will you agree with that? Yes, right. It is a very smaller continent. It is not a big continent like Africa as such, though on the map it looks so. That is because of some, what do you say, projections of a map. Maybe I have to discuss about that in a different video altogether. So generally, when you talk about the Europe as such, it is not a major one. And you will find that almost after Tropic of Cancer, it will be beginning. So any important latitude which is crossing here, I would say it is the Arctic Circle way in the north. So you will find the Arctic Circle moving here. This is the biggest point. That when one important longitude which goes across Africa as well as Europe, right? The 0-degree longitudinal line. So you find the Greenwich in London, where you will find the 0-degree line passes through it. So this is an important longitude and this is the latitude. Then, what are its boundaries? The eastern side, the boundaries, you will find the mighty Ural Mountains separating the Russian part of Europe with respect to the Russia, same with Asia. So, Ural Mountains separate the Russian part of Europe with Russian part of Asia, or in other words, Asian part of Russia with the Europe part of Russia, right? So, that's the right word. Right. Yes, good afternoon, Ashwini. Right. Then when you talk about in the south, You have you have around the Caspian Sea, you have the Caucasus Mountains, you have the Black Sea, which are the boundaries now. As you are crossing this, you are entering into the Asiatic part. Say Turkey is located half in certain part in Europe, certain part in Asia. Similarly, Black Sea, certain part in Europe, certain part in Asia. So, after this, you will find the actual Asia. That's what you can remember. Then in the south, you can talk about the Mediterranean Sea, which is acting as a boundary. There is no problem with the south Mediterranean region. Please remember, the Greenland culturally is part of Europe, but it is not part of North America. Okay, Greenland is not part of North America. Please understand that, right? Then moving forward, these are the basic ideas. Then when you talk about the mountains of the regions, you can see the political regions as such here. I have identified the political regions. Green mark, though Denmark is the one which organizes this, Denmark which looks into this, it is part of North America. This is number one, you need to remember. Iceland is part of Europe, right? You can see Turkey, this is Europe after Istanbul towards the west. Then this part you will find is in the Asiatic side, Black Sea, half in Europe, half in Asia. These are the boundaries, but this is the actual state of affairs of the European thing. Now, if you remember one thing, as you are seeing the map, can you identify any uniqueness which you find here? Anyone? Any uniqueness? Ashwini, Gayatri, Harshavardhan, can you identify any uniqueness? You can mention in the comments any particular uniqueness which is which is not so, what to say, not so dominant for other continents, but definitely more dominant for the Europe. Can you identify that? Let me see. Yes, Harshavardhan, Ashwini. Can you answer? Can you? Harshvardhan, Ashwini, Gayatri? Yes, minor seas. Is it not? Minor seas. Yes, you are quietly near, but not so. In fact, political Europe, it is called as land of peninsulas. What do you call it as? Land of peninsula. Yes. In other words, land of peninsula is where you will find minor seas. No, this is one minor sea. This is one minor sea. This is another minor sea. Minor sea. Minor sea. Minor sea. So you have so many gulfs. These are other words. In other words, these are also the peninsulas. Definitely yes. Yes, it's minor seas. That's what you look like. It is a land of peninsula. Okay, you can see the multiple varieties of peninsula here. This is one peninsula. This is another peninsula. We'll discuss about that later on, but that is one of the political nature. Then when you talk about the mountains, what are the mountains which you find in the European mountains? Can you name? Can you name? Yes, the moment when you talk about Europe mountains, the first picture which you get into the brain, Roger Federer. Huh? What is Roger Federer? It is all about the Roger Federer. He is from Switzerland. The Switzerland, the beautiful Swiss mountains, the Alps mountains, Switzerland. So that is the first thing you can remember. The Switzerland Alps. Okay. Alps mountains, one major. Right in the north, you can find the Scandinavian mountains. Scandinavian mountains. This is one important thing. Then the boundary with respect to Europe and Russia, you will find the Ural mountains. Ural mountains, right? Then one important thing you can find the Pyrenees mountains here, separating almost Spain with France. The Apennines mountains of Italy. Balkans, another mountain range, Balkans. But some more important things which you can always remember about this thing is about the Caucasus Mountains. Caucasus Mountains, which is in the almost at the boundary with respect to Asia, at the boundary of Russia, Ukraine. Here you will find the Caucasus Mountains. In fact, this is where you will find the highest point of Europe. Mount Elbrus is located here. Mount Elbrus. Yeah, sorry, that's not the thing. We'll discuss about the highest point. Let's identify the mountain ranges, then we'll go to Caucasus. Then another important range here you can remember is the Carpathian Mountains. Carpathians Mountains. See, there are still so many other mountain ranges. There are mountain ranges like, the things like Black Forest of Germany, which happens to be the something like a, what is these mountains? Fault mountains. There is a crust, one part of the crust fallen down, then the mountains which are formed because of that fault or the block mountains, which we can call it as, that is also one of the varieties, but these are the basic major ones which you need to remember. Then moving further, yes, so this is where you will find the highest point, Mount Elbrus, the Caucasus Mountains, Mount Elbrus. Can you identify the country of Mount Elbrus? Can you tell me the country? Let me see in the comments. Mount Elbrus, the country. Your Mount Elbrus, where it is located? Can you identify? Yes, Mount Elbrus. Now you see Caucasus Mountains, Caspian Sea, Black Sea. Let me save the political map and identify the country. Okay, this is the political map. This is the Caucasus Mountains. This is part of Russia. Russia. Yes, I was waiting for the answer, but no, many people couldn't answer it. Mount Elbrus is part of Russia. Right. So Russia, that is the point where you find the highest point of North America. Sorry, highest point of Europe. So Europe, Elbrus, Russia. Right. And which mountain range? Caucasus. In fact, one thing you need to understand about this mountain range, right from the Alps, the Alp mountains of the Europe, the Caucasus, the Carpathian Mountains, and then once you enter into the Iran, the Zagros Mountains, the Hindu Kush mountain range, and the Himalayas, there is a one continuous range of fold mountains all the way from Europe to Asia. So Eurasian mountain range, I can say that's a big mountain range from the Himalayas towards the Alps. It is because of the plate boundary movement, the fold mountains of the world, right? So keeping this into consideration, let us move to the next point now. Then the oceans which you find. Oceans. Yes, Nandini, good afternoon. The oceans which you find here, these are also very, very unique. They can ask you questions out of that. Okay, you can all, nobody will ask you about the questions in Europe. Then if you ask questions about Mediterranean Sea separates Europe from Africa, it would be the most easiest question. And for everyone who is preparing, the number of questions are 99 only. So such questions would not be asked. You can ignore such things. Then you can talk about the minor seas, the Adriatic Sea, the Black Sea, the Sea of Azov, Sea of Mara, Aegean Sea. These are the things which they can ask. So let me identify this with the peninsulas. I have identified one map with the peninsulas. Let me see that. Right. So you can see this. Look at the peninsulas. Europe has more varieties of peninsulas like any other, not like any other country. You have the Crimean Peninsula here. This is Crimea. You have the Balkan Peninsula here. You have the Italian Peninsula here. Iberian Peninsula. There is also an Iberian Plateau here. Okay, so many varieties. This is also one peninsula. You can ignore as such, but a series of peninsula talk about the oceans. The oceans are very, very important. The minor seas, let me show you those minor seas. Okay, in the south, the minor seas which are very, very important about this continent. Look at the minor seas. See, this is Crimea. Okay. Here you will find the Sea of Azov. Sea of Azov. This is very important. Black Sea is very important because of the Ukrainian border issue, the conflict with respect to which you are finding, the trade happening and all. These regions are very important. Then you will find this is the Sea of Marmara, Sea of Marmara, Sea of Marmara, and then you will find the Mediterranean Sea, and these are the minor seas. The Aegean Sea would be here. This is the Aegean Sea. So you can see these are the maps which are identifying about all the political things, but you can also see the oceans around it. Okay, let me show you these things. Yeah, you can see Sea of Azov, the Black Sea, Sea of Marmara, Aegean Sea. This is very important. Then we can talk about the Ionian Sea, Ionian Sea, Adriatic Sea, Adriatic Sea. Now they can ask you, match the following, arrange the following oceans from north-south. North-south, Sea of Azov, Black Sea, Aegean Sea, Sea of Marmara. This is Sea of Marmara. Then right in the north, the ones which are in use in the present era, the Murmansk, this is the Murmansk region. Murmansk, which peninsula? Kola Peninsula. Murmansk, Kola Peninsula, and here you are finding about the Barents Sea. Barents Sea, right? So Murmansk, Barents Sea. Yes, some of you, it would be very difficult for you to identify the maps positions from the video as you are watching, but I am writing them in red in color. You identify those points and you take the PDF which you have, which I am anyhow giving it to you in my Telegram channel, and then you watch that. It would be easier for you back then. Okay, if you are finding difficult to observe the places, then download this PDF file, get that PDF file, and from the PDF file you observe all the orders. That would become very, very easy for you. So Murmansk, Kola Peninsula. What is this ocean called as? This is the White Sea. White Sea. This is the Baltic Sea, and above it is the Barents Sea. They can ask you arrange the following oceans in north-south. Barents Sea, White Sea, Baltic Sea. So the sea, minor seas, these are very, very important from the European side because of the importance of these oceans for the trade. Got it all of you? Harshavardhan, Nandini, Ashwini, Gayatri, got it? Shall I move to the next point now? Shall I move? Right. Then, when you talk about these oceans in general, one of the uniqueness you will find about the Scandinavian mountains, the Norway, is about these things. They look like valleys, isn't it? They look like valleys. You can see a deep valley here created. But these are actually what we call it as fjords. Fjords or fjords, whatever here your pronunciation. One of the beautiful places in the world. So these are very, very dominant in the Norway. You can see there is so much amount of picturesque areas, beautiful places as such. Then when you see it here, how do you think they are formed? They are actually part of the old valleys of the glaciers. They are the glaciers. They are not the what is it, valleys. They are actually the glaciers. You know, when glacier is moving, glacier is what? Nothing but rock ice. When a big rock ice is moving, when they move out, they are not just eroding they erode the bottom like anything, which we call it as glacial plucking, right? Glacial plucking. So you can see here, look at the glacier, how it is moving initially. Wait, let me show the GAF in the starting point. Yeah, now you see. Now you can see the glacier is moving. Then as it moves, look at the land surface, how deeper it has turned into. That is the first step of fjord formation. So these fjords, The glaciers, as they were moving in the past, they have moved and they have tried to, what do you say, erode the bottom. Because they have eroded the bottom, and because later on, because of the melting of the glaciers, as the glacier have retreated, and then the water of the ocean that has entered into the land, that is what is called it as a fjord. And these fjords are prominent in Norway. One of the prominent. It's not just they are found only in Norway, they are found in New Zealand, they are found in Chile, in some of the places across the world as such also. But Norway is one of the dominant place of foundation of fjords. You can see here the fjord, how they enter, they can able to erode this and then they can able to create this. This is the first aspect. So what? They are the part of the glaciers. They carp or deep U-shaped valleys, plucking an abrasion, land depression which is they are creating. Then when they move, see, imagine when they move, they become very, very deeper. So what happens? The depth of the valleys are much deeper than the open sea. So after the glacier is retreating back, the ocean enters into the land here. You see the ocean entering into the land. Why? Because they pluck very, very deep. The valleys become very, very minor, very, very deeper in the sense. So that is what we call it as the fjords. Anyhow, I cannot explain the fjord formation in detail in the world mapping series, no, right? Yes, so let's move to the next point now, Europe. The things about rivers now. So let us see the rivers. Now when you talk about the rivers, there are so many rivers. Beyond these rivers which are shown in the map, you need not prepare about any other river. Volga is one river, right? Dnieper is one river. Danube is also important river. Danube. River Rhine is another important river. Seine is another important river. Okay. So river Seine. And for London, you also know the Thames River, which flow the London, which is on the banks of river Thames. That becomes important. Let us see some important river system here. The river called as Rhine River. Now, if you see the Rhine River starts from the Alps in Switzerland, starting from the Alps of the Switzerland, and flow northwards through Germany and enters North Sea through Holland. You see, this is Switzerland. You know the Basel Convention, whether it is the Basel Convention with respect to the waste in environment or with respect to the Basel Convention on the looking after the banking system. Basel Convention, very important. Very near to it, Alps, you will find the Rhine River originating, and this Rhine River flows across the regions of Germany and enters into the English Channel, the North Sea here. And one important thing about this Rhine River is, it is one of the busiest waterway in Europe. In fact, if there is any one river in the world which is known for water system, water transport, where you can do a case study and you can learn a lot, it is that river Rhine. River Rhine happens to be the thing which you find it. So it passes heavily through the industrialized regions and is used for transporting heavy goods. So that is about the Rhine River. Then when you find further, when you find another river, you can see Danube River. You see, Danube, one of the longest river here. Which side it is moving? You see, Rhine River is flowing north towards the North Sea. The mouth is North Sea. Danube River, the mouth is Black Sea. Dnieper, the mouth is Black Sea. Volga River, the mouth is Caspian Sea. Understand these mouths are very important. Match the following with respect to the mouths and the rivers. That becomes important. You need not remember all the minor ones. Remember the major ones. Okay, so this is about the basic aspects of what you say Europe mapping. These are the things which you need to remember: the minor seas, the peninsulas, the rivers, the things which I told you like Murmansk, the regions of Russia which are in news because of the Russian-Ukrainian war. Such kind of things are important. Remaining things anyhow you can ignore. These are the basic things. Hope you all have understood these topics. If you want the PDF file, you can get into my Telegram channel. You can get that. And for more such information of what do you want, you can always mention more in the comment section. You can mention, sir, please do this. Definitely, we'll be willing to do it. I'll be willing to do it, right? Any particular thing which you need for your before your prelims 2024, I'm more than happy to help you. So whatever you need further, let me know. We can do it accordingly. It's all about whatever you want, we are here to identify. So put it in the comment section and we will analyze that, and accordingly we'll be doing such kind of videos. And any such kind of a doubt you have, you can get into the Telegram channel. You can interact with me. Every week I'll have a doubt session directly with the students from the Telegram channel itself, where we can interact directly. Right then, all of you then. Thank you. Have a good time. Hope you have understood it. Until we meet next time, this is Venkatesh signing off. Jai Hind. Happy learnings. Thank you.